Welcome to this week's episode of the How To's. Now for our host, Dr. Dimitri Bradley.
Hey, this is Dr. Bradley with the How To's. Excited to be here with you again. I got a good friend of mine, a member of our ministry, Coach Loren Johnson. He's going to be sharing with us on today, and we're excited to share some How To's with you on today. So, Coach Johnson, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Bless you, bless you. So, one of the first things I want you to understand about Coach Johnson, he is the three-time coach. He's the coach of the three-time state champion Highland Springs Springers. Highland Springs has been on the run for the last few years, and Coach Johnson and his staff has been intricate in them getting to the place that they're in. But before we get into that, I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us a little bit about your football history and how you kind of got to be coach.
I think just like a lot of things, it's on the back of a lot of sacrifice, right? So growing up in Miami, Florida, mother, father in the house, older brother in the house, just having a great opportunity just to learn from a young man, which is my brother, 5 years older than me, teaching me how to play football in the front yard.
All right.
And he kind of pulled me along. But in that process, the loss of my mother, my brother giving up football to take care of me, him thrusting me, not allowing me to make the same mistakes he was making as he was going through school. And then having a couple of mentors just guide me through the process and navigate me through Little League football into high school football with a lot of great coaches growing up in South Florida. Propelled me and gave me the opportunity to play football at Virginia Tech, leave Virginia Tech, have an opportunity to go to NFL Europe, play in Frankfurt, Germany, the best summer job I ever had in my life.
Come on. I heard Germany's pretty nice.
Just traveling all throughout Europe, doing it while you're playing football, doing it with some great guys, coming back to the States, playing arena football, and then being asked by a college coach, Coach Gentry. He was the strength and conditioning coach. If I wanted to work on my master's, giving me an opportunity to finish up some schooling.
I don't want to skip over the master's. Yes. So you're educated. Not only did you play football, but you got a master's degree.
That was mandatory for mom. That was mandatory for mom, dad, and everybody else.
I love it.
So got the master's degree, and then had an opportunity to coach. Get my first head coaching job at the age of 25. So it was 2003, 25 years old. At that time, the youngest head coach in the state of Virginia, and just kind of learned a lot. So people say you learn by experiences. My experiences taught me a lot in a short period of time.
Question, did you see yourself, now, was coaching part of something that you had in the back of your mind? Was it something that you thought you wanted to do, or did it just kind of, was it organic, it just kind of happened?
Well, it did not happen, and it did just happen. So as a senior in high school, I made the comment I wanted an opportunity to play professional football. And if I didn't have the opportunity, I wanted to go back home to my high school and coach. I thought it was cute when I said it in the newspaper article until it manifested later on in life. So I spoke that thing into existence and didn't even realize it.
Amen.
So the school that I'm at right now looks very similar to my high school, but it's not my high school. And I asked God for an opportunity to play professional football, and I got an opportunity. If I could go back and ask for 20 years, I would ask for 20 years.
It's 10.
But I asked for an opportunity. God gave me an opportunity, and now I'm coaching. So when I say it happened organically, becoming a high school football coach, I was working at Glenville High School in Southwest Virginia. I was a marketing teacher coaching girls track at the time.
Wow.
I was an assistant football coach just because you played college football. We need you to coach at another school, Lower Bartertown High School. One day I was sitting in the marketing office and some paper slid under the door. I don't know if a student did it, a teacher did it, an assistant principal, who, but it was a position at Dinwiddie High School in Dinwiddie, Virginia. They were looking for a football coach. Their program had just gone 0-10. And it was Stonewall Jackson High School in Northern Virginia, and their football program would just go 0-10.
Wow.
So I applied for both. I thought I got the job at Dinwiddie. I got the job at Stonewall Jackson in Manassas, and that's kind of how it organically formed in my mind. I didn't think I would do it. I didn't think at 25 I would get the job. I felt like I knew enough football, but I didn't know if everybody else felt like I was prepared to do it.
Oh, that's good. Now, since we got the kind of history and we've got you up to this point, you've come down from Northern Virginia. Obviously, Highland Springs High School pursued you, or you pursued them, and you got here. Tell me this, because we talking about three-time state champs. You got kids in major college programs right now. You've had major college coaches come through your office, through your program, to come see your kids.
Absolutely.
But what did this school look like when you got here?
So the history of Highland Springs is always rich in terms of football.
Right.
And there were always a lot of athletes that played good and great football, but they had never reached the Pentium or the apex. They never got to the top, of the mountain. And the program itself was in shambles internally. And what I say in shambles internally, the coach that my predecessor did an excellent job of getting them to play good football. But in terms of the person and the people in the building and in the program, they were fighting themselves. The football program and the football players kind of worked two different ways. The football program worked, hey, we're going to play football and be as good as we possibly can on Friday nights. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, they were fighting each other. So it was neighborhood versus neighborhood. I don't like this individual. I do like this individual. I hate this person. I don't like this person. And one of my first major experiences after getting the job in the summer of 2008, the starting quarterback and the starting running back, who were very, very good athletes, who grew up together, who lived, spent the night at each other's house on a regular basis, got in a major fight. Till when they left out of the locker room, there were gangs of cars just lined up in front of the school weight room and field house, ready to fight. And I think the one thing that stopped them is that I had at the time, my oldest son, who was about 4 years old, and my youngest son, who was about 2 years old. They were with me, and if the three of us didn't walk in between them, it would have been a war in the parking lot of our field house. Wow. So those started the rules. We have 3 simple rules in our program. The first one is don't lie. The second one is don't steal. And the third one is don't get in a fight in the community. Those are 3 just mainstay rules.
So you had to go in and change the culture. Yeah, you had to go in and really change the culture, really change the mindset. Tell me this, though. I know you're a believer. I know you're a believer. I know your family is here, solid, been here, been a part of this ministry. How does you being a Christian affect how you coach football?
Major ways. So, and it all starts with how you handle the people that you work with, right? So, you love your wife as Christ loved the church. Right. Love your football program as Christ would love your football program. And it's a lot of forgiveness, and it's a lot of, you never overlook anything, but it's always teaching. There are always parables. There are always lessons. There are always stories that we have to go back and we have to evaluate where we were and where we are now and where we're ultimately going. My professional why, my personal why are very, very different. Right. And personally, I do it because I want to give kids the opportunity to be successful outside of football. Right. And football is just a vehicle to get us where we want to be. So that all goes back to, being in the church. We want to give people the opportunities to see heaven. Let's just get there. We want to see heaven. Nobody wants to go to hell.
Yeah, that's right.
We want to save lives as best we possibly can. And I think the football gives the young men in the building and then their families in the community an opportunity to see something in a positive light. Good. So that's, we have to approach it. I never approach it with a fine-tooth comb. Right. We're going to pray. Right. We're going to believe, and we're going to speak things into existence. I say I ask for an opportunity. Right. We don't ask for opportunities anymore. We say what we want to do. Right. And people look at me crazy when I say we want to win 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 championships in a row. But we want to speak it into existence. Love it. So it's done not for my well-being, but for the young men's well-being and how they carry themselves later on in life.
Now, it's something I heard you say that football was an ends to a means, was just a vehicle to get them there. Because a lot of, and I won't say this, yes I will, I'll say it. A lot of high school coaches see it as football. Right. I think it sounds to me that you see it different than football. You looking at this as a way to build a man, a way to help change, because we might get into some things a little bit later, but there's some statistics out there concerning where you coach that says basically, fatherhood and fathers are missing in your community. Right. And so now, football coaches as well as teachers and even principals, if they're willing to step up to the role, have to play surrogate. So tell me about that. Tell me about how you have to play that role and do that experience as a football coach, not just being concerned about football. Because I'm sure you got kids that come to you that maybe they didn't have lunch, they didn't have dinner, they're missing shoes, they can't go home, or they, whatever it is. How do you corral all that in when you talk about being a state champ? Because you got to be focused to do that.
Absolutely. So without getting into the statistics, because my mind wants to jump to it immediately. I think what we do is, first of all, I'm going to try to be the example that my father was to me. That's number one. Losing my mother and my stepmother to cancer, in my adolescent age, the greatest thing I tell the kids that I talk to in the Peak on a regular basis, it may sound funny, but losing my mother was probably the best thing for me, because having my father was like the ultimate. Right? He just kind of expressed to me and taught me a lot of different things. So, one of the lessons that he shared with me on a regular basis is that, when you're doing something, we always say you got to be the best at what you do. How you carry yourself and how you talk and how you handle yourself has to be the best. You can't look at it from a different perspective. Other than that, you got to be number one.
Right.
Just because of who you are, how you look,
right,
your nationality, your ethnicity, everything. You just got to be all the things that encompass. So when we're working with these young people, we don't want them to have an excuse.
That's good.
All right. So we try to eliminate the excuses. One of the first lessons I learned early on at being at Highland Springs was we gave a young man a packet of information to fill out to test his football knowledge. He came back with half of the packet filled out, and his comment to me was, the lights went out. Or matter of fact, and I kind of shared it. He said it got dark.
Right.
So in the summertime it got dark. I said, so what does that mean it got dark? And I had to put two and two together. They had no lights in the house.
Oh, wow.
So once you start to understand it, you start to empathize with the families, knowing some of those events, from my own personal life, but seeing other individuals that I went to school with or grew up with. Let's not make an excuse for the young people. That's what I got from my dad. So how do we help them in their situations? Cost you a little bit of money.
Right.
Cost you a lot of time. Cost you a lot of time.
I bet you.
But it's nothing more rewarding than when you can bring them to the house and you can feed them and it lights their face up. Or you can get them prepared for the big game without being in a home that has a lot going on.
I want to jump on something, because there may be another coach watching us today. There may be another coach who, or a young man who wants to be a coach.
Right.
And a lot of times their focus is trying to win.
Right.
But it sounds like your focus needs to be on building the kids that you're dealing with.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're dealing with kids that are coming from an urban environment where the environment may not be as structured as some of the other ones that we've seen. Because you're talking about taking kids home, you're talking about feeding kids. I personally seen you drive kids around in your car.
Absolutely.
So this is more than just about you being able to run, catch, block, tackle.
It's way more than that. I think that, we always say in the football world that it's 10% physical and 90% mental. All right. But when you become a coach, I think it's 95% love and 5% football.
Good.
All right.
Good.
And I think we want to love as much as we possibly can. I had an influx of coaches leave, all right, maybe about 6 years ago, and I had an influx of coaches come in. When those new coaches came in, the three questions I asked them were, in the interview process, is what's your relationship with your wife?
This sounds like church. This sounds like church to me.
Where do you worship at?
Right.
And do you love children? And I think once they can answer those questions the way I wanted them to, those are the people that I wanted to hire.
Right.
I don't go to church right now, but I'm looking for a church.
Right.
Some of those individuals have showed up in this church.
Right.
And I don't force it on them, but I just try to live a certain way or live a life to where it's exemplary to where I want them to be.
People do what they see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your relationship with your wife? Coach, you got to help me with that. Okay. We growing men.
Right.
So let's help men grow. Do you love children? Like, if you don't love children,
why are you coaching?
Why are you coaching?
Why are you teaching?
Yeah. So let's get out of this profession. Let's go do something else, because you might be better at something else.
That's good.
So we have to show that love. Now we affectionately say in our program that it's daddy daycare.
Right.
Meaning,
come on, explain that. Explain that. So people may not understand. Explain that.
So I've heard on a regular basis that in college, your kids can't come to practice. Where at Highland Springs, I'm inviting your children to come to practice. Wow. So if you're a coach, your son, your daughter needs to see how you interact with other kids.
Right.
But other kids need to see how you interact with your children.
Right.
So we invite we have 14 coaches that have children on staff.
Right.
20 coaches in all. And
so you got family.
Yeah. It's when we have a Christmas party or we do those type of engagements, there are always more children in the room than there are adults. And we want the little girls to be there. Mm-hmm. I have a daughter that's 9. She's been to practice. She thinks she runs practice. Right. And then we have all of the males are there. Right. And all of them want to be football players and they want to be involved in what's going on. So we say it's daddy daycare, but it's just showing the young men that we coach how we want them to act at all times.
Could it be this? Some of them may have never seen family like that before. Functional African American family.
You say some. I would venture to say it's a large percentage of, 65 or more have never seen mother, father, children all going in the same direction.
Yeah.
Right. You may have, and this is probably a stretch, but you have 75% of our team single parent homes.
Yeah.
And the majority of those single parent homes are mothers.
Right.
And that comes with its own issues and development. But the young men feed into it, the mothers feed into it, they buy into what we're doing, and then they make things happen.
Man, that sounds good, man.
Yeah.
We're excited. I know we're out of time for this particular segment, but we had a great time talking to Coach Johnson. We're going to come back in just a minute and finish our conversation. I believe you're going to be blessed and get some good how-tos out of this conversation. See you soon.
Thanks for watching the How To's. Please like and share the video and leave a comment below to tell us what you think. You can also visit us at DimitriBradley.com for more things about Pastor Bradley. And please, don't forget to subscribe to City TV.